What's up, guys? It's Nick. Just wanted to pop in here, give you guys a daily update from movements on AMC, GameStop, along with the broad market, just to give some more clarity to some things I was looking at, things I noticed today. As always, not a licensed financial advisor, just a fellow ape. It holds a Series 7, 63, and SIE. So take what I say with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, every investment is whatever makes most sense for you and your financial position. Got some really good movement today. I really like to see the increase in volume, which is what I mentioned yesterday. I was honestly a little surprised to see the test of 1640, 1635 range with the break, but I always love to see that kind of get the test out of the way with volume continuation, RSI continuing to hold up OBV continuing to hold up while RSI was dropping. We honestly needed a cool off there. The one thing that does concern me, and let me adjust this so that we're just looking at SPY and AMC. Actually, we'll just go straight to AMC. But while we're on this, the thing that I really like to see too is this is kind of where we caught the top of our trading range, if you want to call it that. Some heavy resistance here. Also conveniently the top of SPY before some news was dropped on Apple, which obviously Apple is one of I think it is the largest position on SPY. So to see SPY kind of decline like this, I think it was a bit over dramatic in my opinion. Not the best news out of Apple, but nonetheless, it's good to see the resilience from AMC here. This is just a 15-minute chart. That's kind of what I trade intraday. But it's good to see the resilience here as SPY continued to sell off. AMC kind of found a support line and some good resilience in regards to that. So strong day for AMC, 7.6%. When we get into this though, there are just a couple minor things that I do want to keep an eye on as we continue the week. Solid start to the analysis. Based on what I said we were going to test that 1640, potentially break it in the first couple days. So that's always good to see take place on day one. Just with the open here, this doesn't surprise me that I don't know if it's necessarily shorts or if they plan to do this, but everyone's kind of preconditioned to see gaps based on previous close and following day's open. And there's undeniably a gap here from this range. I'll show you on the daily. It looks a little bit more extreme to where it's something to be aware of as we start climbing to the upside. There is going to be gaps within that trading range. It's not uncommon. I wish it was a little bit higher up within that trading range just due to where we're kind of at and what we're trying to get out of. This is a very strong daily close, but if you notice here, this gap roughly from 1552 to like 1537, that was definitely on the radar today as we didn't retrace or come down and close that off of open. So that is something I want people to be aware of. I don't know if they're going to fill it. I don't want to guarantee it. Most of the time with something like this being so heavily shorted, that is the case. Near term wise though, with the strength we showed against SPY today, I don't know if that's even going to be something that we fill until maybe way later down the road or off of some of this GameStop split and things of that nature. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of that, to potentially watch out for it. And I'm sure that's something that the shorts played into their favor to kind of either one, inflict fear, or two, just kind of have it to their advantage. Just the way the market moves, a lot of times gaps tend to get filled, but they don't necessarily have to. I just want to kind of make people aware of that before it's just straight up. So we got the test of the 1640 early on, broke through it. Really like to see that. On the 4 hour, came down and retested it and closed above with strength. So I like to see that strong close there, back above, even though they did slip it out with SPY. But the 1640 break is with a close above is looking extremely good. So for tomorrow and the rest of the week, what I'd like to see here is potentially some consolidation. If we do get that sell-off to fill the gap, again, that's way down at 1537 range. I hope if that's the case, it's something that they do pretty quick off of open or kind of a low volume sell-off to reaccumulate and work our way back up. The good thing is we broke this regression line, broke a rising support or resistance line along with 1640, so that's just a lot of lines down beneath for it to even fill this gap, so I don't necessarily know if that's going to be the case. I just want to make you aware of it as we go further here. So going into this, just a little bit deeper dive, I want to show you some potential projections. I know I said once we're through 1640, we can see some major upside. That's still very much on the table, so don't think that that gap means that it's just completely done and they're going to rip it down and this is just even more delayed. So what I'm looking for rest of the week, I'd like to see volume continuation within here. If we get the sell-off to fill the gap, I'd like that to be off of low volume with a kind of a wick down to potentially fill it. Again, they'd have to break the standard deviation line and these three lines here for that to be the case. So I don't know if that's going to happen. Rest of the week, though, I would like to kind of gain some consolidation within this new trading range. Above 1640 would be ideal. This line is really at 1635. But going into the week, there's going to be some resistance in the 1730 up to even, I know there was some at 1776. So it's not going to be straight up from here, but this is breaking over a key macro trend that literally goes back to pre-June run. For the sake of the video, I'm not going to show you here. That might be in another video. But if you track back on 1640, you'll kind of see the significance of it and some heavy resistance and why it kind of took a bit to get over that at first. It appears we claimed it as support on the 4-hour. We're trading a bit above the standard deviation bands, which usually when that happens, there is going to be a cool-off phase, so that's where I don't want people to be surprised if we do cool off or kind of get some trading within this region here. SPY and the broad market want to kind of relieve some pressure off of that nasty dip. I could see this this pullback not being super deep, maybe to 1635, potentially down to 1597, 16 range. There's a chance of this gap fill, so I'll leave it on the table. Could happen 1537, and then we return to this range on late Wednesday or Thursday, just so you're aware of it. But if markets are strong tomorrow, I know IBM had earnings today after bell and a few big earnings rest of the week. If markets are strong or kind of get back into that uptrend here, I don't think we're going to have much or really any resistance until we start pressing this 1884 mark or 1880 range. So until then, my thesis hasn't really changed. I would love to see a continuation of this uptrend, maybe get into this upper channel tomorrow or into Wednesday and Thursday, and then get a nice gamma ramp forming, because if you look at the options chain, this morning it was a 5-to-1 ratio off of open. It was like 48,000 calls to 9,000 puts in the first 15 minutes of trading. So some really heavy option volume, which is good to see. Volume 53.8 million, heavier for consideration. Like it's kind of matching some of these previous uptrend days that we had. So I wouldn't be surprised to see somewhat of a cool off within the stock price. RSI is pretty hot on the 4-hour, but I think we're setting up extremely well. So all else equal, this was a great day for AMC. I just want to keep this gap fill in the back of my mind. Know that that's there. I like the break and the test of 1640. We haven't had something like this since end of June. So rest of the week, it could be a potential consolidation within this zone if market's giving us some chop. But if market wants to return to an uptrend, I really think we'll be testing 1840. Potentially beyond that later this week. It just kind of depends. Tomorrow is post ex-dividend split, or not split, post ex-dividend date for GME is tomorrow. So with shorts, I could potentially see the next couple days hitting GameStop hard, which would therefore pull AMC down with it in the meme basket. But honestly, technical analysis wise, like I couldn't ask for much more today on AMC. We broke a major uptrend, retested the bottom, came back up and closed above it. So solid day nonetheless. I will provide more context to this, kind of a more in-depth video as we go into tomorrow and the rest of the week, but just wanted to pop on and give you a quick update there. So chain's looking good. July, this Friday, we had 41,000 volume on the 18s. Heavy volume outside of the money, got 23,000, 31,000. Some good things to see there is IVs relatively staying up on those, which is nice to see. That drop down did cool off IV, but it remained relatively steady. But we still got some heavy gamma setting up here, strong delta in comparison to the put side. You get 52, 43, 34. And then you got delta 37, 27, 19. It just kind of drops off a little bit heavier on the put side versus the call side. But that volume that we saw today within the options chain and on the stock itself is exactly what I was looking for. Just a little bit more of a high volume day. So solid day. Just like I said, beware of the gap. And if broad market wants to give us some green tomorrow, I think we can fully test the 1730 and kind of start hopping trading ranges a little bit quicker. We just need to see continued positive movement, positive volume within the security. Tuesdays, off of delivery from last Friday, they can sometimes tend to be a little bit more sideways trading. Looks like last Tuesday, 7-7, 7-18. Last Tuesday we got a little bit of sideways trading after the pop, so just more of the stair stepping is kind of what I want to see for a healthy continuation, especially with where RSI is at. And OBV is actually peaking above where we were in pre-34 run. So pre-34 run, the peak was right here. We actually broke above that today at the top. We're catching the top of that OBV as support now. So that's always good to see. On-bounds volume is extremely strong there. So everything looks good. Just a couple minor things I want to look out for. We did get the weekly crossover, the 200 SMA, the daily confirmation on the standard deviation line crossing over the 50 EMA. So my confirmations are there. I just want to kind of see the follow through with volume, and hopefully broad market wants to stay relatively calm. Just that resilience today that we saw from AMC at the close versus the broad market close is very, very good to see. Just kind of shows that the demand is still there, that they're not pulling this out with any sort of slip-ups. So just want to make that quick video. I'll hopefully get a more in-depth one in regards to GameStop and what's going to occur with it this week. I'd like to cover that maybe tomorrow. I'll have some time to drop a video out on that, but in the meantime, couldn't ask for much more today. Showed good strength off of the retrace and bounce up. Just wanted to give you guys some awareness to some things I saw, and hopefully that helps with some sentiment. I haven't been super active on Twitter today, just helping out the Discord and pointing out things within there. I love the strength through this regression channel though. That breakout is strong. Tested 1640, came back down, and then came back up through, got the break, and tested it again. So I love back testing. I've talked about this a lot, just to show that the demand is still there. So solid day. Hopefully that helps, gives you a little bit more analysis, and excited to see what the rest of the week brings. I think there's some big announcements potentially coming out, volatility within GameStop, and different things of that nature. So I'll be sure to update more, like I said, tomorrow when I get a chance, a more in-depth video based on the market's reaction tomorrow. So appreciate you joining. If you could give me a like and subscribe. Comments are always great. Love hearing what you guys have to say and things that I can work on, or answers that I can, or questions that I can answer. So have a good rest of your night, and we'll catch you tomorrow.